Hello friends, family, and everyone in between. My name is Kayla Networks and this is my very random YouTube channel. Of course my dogs will be making noise. I think Piper's eating bone. I swear 9 times out of 10 it's Piper that's making noise. I think she's the problem child. Today I'm going to be talking about something that I haven't talked about, doing something that I haven't done before, and this is a movie review. And it's not even just one particular movie, it's a series, the entire series. Because I've been meaning to do this for the longest time. Just to let you know how long I've been meaning to do this and just haven't recorded any of it. The notes I have, because I did make notes when I was watching it, I made it on April 1st. That was the last time I updated the notes. In the movie series I'm talking about, if you haven't seen the title, which I assume you have and that's why you clicked on this video, I'm talking about the Resident Evil series. So let me just say, I watched the entire series before I actually played any of the Resident Evil games. And now that I have played it, I see why some fans of the games are not so much fans of the movies. Or at least after the first one, they're definitely not fan of the entire series, because there's a lot of stuff that I'm like,
no.
Or you did some of the characters wrong when I felt like in the games they were so great. Now I only played some of the recent games. Like I think I played one where they're in Tokyo or they're in Japan somewhere and you get to play a bunch of different characters, and I played one where they're in some kind of like village with Chris and this other girl, and I played one other one. But anyway, I'm talking about the Resident Evil series today because I made my husband watch all of them, and so they're fresh on my mind, and I have some things to say about this series. I'll be completely honest, I love the series. I loved all of them. I hated the last one, I'll be completely honest. I hated the last Resident Evil movie. It was trash, it felt rushed, it felt all over the place. It was gross. I hated the last one. The third one is my favorite. Is it the third one? The third one where they're like, they go to Las Vegas and she meets up with her like old posse and stuff like that. Like that one is probably my favorite one. Love the third one. And that one actually inspired a book that I'm writing. So like, of course, I love that one. I'm going to be talking about all of them at once. I'm not going to be talking about like the first one, second one, third one. I'm talking about all of them just in general. And the first thing that I want to say is that, like I said, I did love all the movies before playing the games. And even after playing the games, I still love the series in general. Alice is just a badass character, regardless of how you feel about her being in the series. Alice was a badass character. But whoever directed these movies were so obsessed with her nipples. Like, I don't know. Hello? There was so much attention, especially in the first one and I think the fourth one. There was so much tension drawn to her nipples. I'm not gonna body shame her. She has a great body. Obviously, she has an amazing body. She's so athletic. She is that girl. But like, really? All the nipple shots in the series, was that really necessary? I felt like that was just doing, the male gaze was very prevalent in this entire movie, which I guess it makes sense considering it's like a video game and most video games are very sexualized women very much, and the male gaze is definitely there. Another thing that made me mad, I promise this isn't just me going in on the entire series, because like I said, I did love certain movies from the series, but something else, like on the note of just me really paying attention and noticing things that now it makes me angry. There were very few black characters or people of color in this entire series. Very, very few. And something that I've noticed that a lot of movies do, and this one does this, is that you get 1 or 2 black characters, but if you get too many, you gotta kill off some of them and then replace them with newer black characters. And it makes me so mad because there were so many opportunities where you could have included more people of color and they didn't, because not all the characters in these movies, like I get the ones like that are based off of the ones from the games, like I get that you want to stay true to character. I'm not mad at that, but some of the ones that like weren't even in the games at all, like come on now. It made me so mad that it lacked diversity. It lacked a lot of diversity in the entire movie. And for some people you don't care, but as me, as a person of color, like I notice when I'm not being represented in a film, especially in a film that I love. And this was just one of the series that I feel like they took the typical route of you only have X number of black characters, and once you reach that amount and you want to introduce another one, you got to kill that one off and then introduce them. It's like, okay, whatever. But since I mentioned 2 negative things, I'm going to mention 2 positive things about the series. And one is that I did love that there were very strong female characters. I know I mentioned that before. Aside from Alice, there was also Claire. She was another very strong female character. And I didn't realize how important Chris and Claire were in the entire like games until I started playing them, and it was always about Chris and Claire, which in the movies that is not the case. You find Chris in like the 4th movie, that's the first time you're introduced to him, and you find Claire in the 3rd movie. And I will say that I had no problem with the 2 actors who played them. I think they portrayed them fairly well. Claire was just another female like badass character. I liked them because I liked that their relationship together, they worked together, they uplifted each other, they protected one another.
Chris and Claire Redfield.
And I like that it was based around mostly female characters and them being strong, doing their thing, protecting people, and they weren't the victims all the time. So I like that the movies like was very female centered. One of my most favorite scenes from all the entire series was in the 4th one where they're locked up in the prison and Big Jumbo guy comes up in the shower or whatever, and they're like trying to escape, and then Alice and Claire fight. Like, I like that they were tag teaming fighting. Granted, Alice got knocked out halfway through, but like, it was just a great moment to see 2 women fighting together and not fighting against one another, or just like fighting over a man, or like hating on the other because the other one's more powerful or whatever. Like, they were both equally good ass people and badass fighters. You love to see it. Speaking of characters like Chris and Claire that were brought up in the games, characters that were brought up like literally for like a split second, like in the main one I'm talking about is like Leon, like, and I didn't even remember him being in the movies to begin with whatsoever. Like, there's certain characters when I was playing the games, I was like, oh, they're in the movies, they're in the movies. Leon, he was so like prevalent in the games, like he was in so many of them. I remember like one of the first ones we tried to play, which was super old and I didn't like it, he was the main character. And then the one where I said playing in like Tokyo or something like that, he was one of the characters in that. So like, Leon is a big part of the entire Resident Evil franchise. But in the movies, he's literally in like, was it the 5th one or something like that? And I feel like he's just there to be there. He really doesn't contribute anything, just to be like, oh, that's Leon from the games. It's like,
Barry, you and I take point.
his character doesn't do much, and then in the next one, all of a sudden he's not there anymore, and they really don't give you a reason why. They kind of like skim over that part, and it felt very cheap the way that they introduced Leon. Ada was another one that they introduced in the 5th one.
My name is Ada Wong, operative for the Umbrella Corporation, one of Albert Wesker's top agents.
Like, I feel like they did her dirty too. Like, Ada was such a badass. The only game that I played that had her in it was the one in Japan, but she was such a badass. First off, the actress who played her, that was great casting for Ada. She looked like an Ada. She had the hair cut and stuff like that. Ada and Leon, they both, it was very cheap the way they introduced them, because they introduced them in that movie just, I guess, to be like, hey, the games. And then the next one, they're dead, I'm assuming. Like I said, the last Resident Evil movie was so cheap to me. It just felt so rushed. It felt like they didn't know how the hell to end it, what the hell to do. It was trash. For the entire series, the last one was trash. Speaking of which, she even had a freaking daughter. Like, granted she wasn't real, but like all of a sudden like her daughter's dead too, and she doesn't seem very like traumatized by it. She doesn't even, I don't even think she thinks about her daughter.
You won't leave me here like before.
I won't leave you.
Like I said, the last movie was just garbage. However, like I said, that was a negative, but a positive is that they did introduce Wesker, and I feel like, granted they could have done way more with Wesker, but I did like how they introduced Wesker. He was definitely in the movies, he was way more like in your face and stuck to his, like, a very similar portrayal of him in the movies that he is in the games.
Oh, nice to finally meet the real you.
But I liked Wesker. I think the guy who played Wesker was another great casting choice. That guy looked like Wesker. That was Wesker. That was him, looked exactly like him, had like the same like mannerisms and voice. Like, that was great casting. The other negative that I have about the Resident Evil movies, granted there's a lot more that I could say, because the last complaint that I think that I have about the entire series is that Alice passes out damn near in every movie. Like, this bitch cannot stay awake. For her to be so powerful, to have all these powers, all these abilities, this hoe is passing out every movie. I don't think there was one movie where she did not pass out, and that felt very cheap for me from a filmmaking standpoint, because it's like, how do we get her from point A to point B? Knock the bitch out and she just wakes up in the next scene. Like, they couldn't just like tell the story very well. That the only way that they could like move things along was, we gotta pass her out and start fresh, so then the audience just accepts this new circumstance and we don't have to explain anything else. And that's what they did. I want to say in every single movie, Alice passes out, and that's how they show the progression of time, and that something has happened and that they've moved on to another scene, another like something has happened. Pass her out. Y'all did so great with the special effects and the fighting and all this other stuff. Like, could y'all not have told the story a little bit better? Like, the visuals in the movie, I guess that's a positive. The visuals in this movie were great. The fighting was great. A lot of my complaints have to do with just the storytelling in general, and felt at times underwhelming. Once you pick up that they're doing something because they don't know how to tell it any other way, it's kind of like you're doing the games a disservice, because the games were really great, and it kind of feels like you're all over the place and you don't have like, you're not focusing. You're not focusing. They probably had too many people in the room pitching ideas, and they're like, okay, let's include all of them. And it's like, no, it doesn't work like that. Regardless of how you may feel about it, regardless of all the stuff that I do have to complain about the movies, I still love the movies. Like, I'm not gonna lie. I still love the movies, or at least I love the first 4. I would like if they just like, I don't know, make a Resident Evil like TV series, but like based on the video games. That would be something. Okay, if they do that, they need to hire me, only because I said it first, or I think I said it first. But you need to hire me because I want to be involved. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know what you think. What do you think about my complaints? Do you have your own complaints? If you have your own like pros of the movies, is there anything that you really loved about the movies that I didn't mention here? And let me know, which one was your favorite? So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, follow us on Instagram. We will see you all next time. Bye.